Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. So in the previous video I mentioned about the three kinds of words in Arabic, the ism, fi'l and harf. Hopefully by this time you have memorized the list up by heart, inshallah. Okay, so the first type of word we learn is the ism. And we said about the ism that it has four properties. And the way I like to describe the four properties is similar to having four legs on a table. Like how a table has four legs, if I remove one leg, it cannot function as a table. So similarly, if the ism is void of any of these, one of these properties even, it's not going to be regarded as an ism. So an ism has to have these four properties. So what are the four properties? Firstly, it's the status, then you have number, then you have gender, and then you have type. Okay, so you got to memorize this is what status, number, gender, type. Whenever I ask you what are the four properties of an ism, you're going to say status, number, gender, type. Okay, now of these four, in order, we're going to start looking at the status. Okay, so what is status? When we say status, what do we mean? Okay, status tells us, okay, the role of the ism in a sentence. Okay, the role of the ism in a sentence. Okay, and we learned that there are how many forms of status? Okay, we learned that there are three forms of status. Okay, firstly we had the doer, which in Arabic we call the rafa. Then we have the detail, which is called the nasb. And then we have the after of, which is jar. Okay, so let's look at a sentence now, and we're going to try to figure out if we can identify where the doer is, where the detail is, and if there are any after ofs as well. We're going to try to figure that out. Okay, if I say I helped Yusuf in the masjid. Okay, I helped Yusuf in the masjid. It's a random sentence. Okay, first thing we should look for, okay, we're looking at a sentence, we should try to look for an action. We should look for a fi'l. Okay, is there any word in the sentence which is confined to a tense? There is, which is the word helped. Helped is a past tense word, so this word is going to be a fi'l. Now, do we look for a status? Do we look for a doer, detail, after of? Can we ask that question? Is helped a doer? Is it a detail? Is it after of? The answer is no. Why? Because helped is a fi'l. And when it comes to status, number, gender and type, that's only a conversation of the ism. So we can't look at a fi'l, we can't look at an action word and say, okay, is it rafa, is it nasab, is it jar, is it doer, detail, after of? That question is sort of non-applicable. Okay? So we discover where the fi'l is first of all, so we know, okay, we're not going to be dealing with this, we're not going to give it any status. Okay, then we have to look for the doer. Okay, now, who done the action in the sentence? It was I. I helped. Who helped? I helped. So let me color that in red so we can better visualize it, inshallah. Okay. Okay, then the next thing we need to know is, are there any details about this action? Okay, and there is. Okay, so who did I help? The answer is Yusuf. Let me color that in orange. You guys can see that. Okay, and then are there any more details? Yep, in the masjid. Okay, where did I help? I helped in the masjid. Okay, so you have two details over here, and we don't have any after ofs. If you don't have any after ofs, fair enough, we don't need it. Okay, so let me give you an example with the after of as well. If I say the messenger, let me change the color. The messenger of Allah taught us. Okay, so the question is again now, what should we look for first? Take a guess before I mention it. Okay, we need to try to identify where the fi'l is first. Okay, so are there any words in this sentence which is restricted to a time? Yes, there is. The word taught, which is in the past tense. Okay, so we're not going to be giving that a status. Okay, then we look for the doer. Okay, who done the action in the sentence? Who's the doer of the act? Okay, the doer of the act is, you can only choose one word, which is the messenger. Who taught? The messenger taught. Okay, so this is going to be rafa. Okay, let's take the word us. Why is us in this sentence? Okay, now the way to identify this, okay, as you must have come across in class as well, and it's in your homework also, is that you try to turn them into questions to better identify if it's going to be a do or if it's going to be a detail. Okay, for example, going back to the messenger, if I say who taught, I'm asking for the doer, so the answer was messenger. Okay, then the question behind us would be who did I teach? Oh, sorry, who did the messenger teach? The messenger taught us. So that gives us the detail. Let me color that in orange again. Okay, now we have the word Allah here as well. We have the word Allah. Now what status is this? Is it a doer? Nope. Not in this sentence. Is it a detail? Nope. Okay, it's after of, isn't it? Look, the word of is appearing. After the word of, there's the word Allah. So this is going to be the jar status. Let me color that in green. Okay, so the after ofs are going to be in green. And one final point on the after ofs is that sometimes you may have to discover an of. Okay, for example, if I say my pen, the font again, the color again. If I say my pen, is there another way of saying my pen in English? Yes, there is. You can also say pen of mine. Now, which word has come after of? The word mine. Okay. So when you say my pen, in reality, what you're saying also is pen of mine. So the word after of in reality is my over here. So that's going to be your jar. Okay. If I say Musa's mother, is there another way of me saying Musa's mother in English? Yes, there is. I could say mother of Musa. Okay, so sometimes you have to discover the of. Okay, Musa's mother, mother of Musa. Which word is after of? It's Musa. Okay, so Musa in this context is going to be my after of. Okay, hope that makes sense, inshallah. If you have any questions, please do ask on, by email or WhatsApp group ideally, so everyone else can learn from your questions as well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.